This just arrived and it's currently on my bed. It's a Waterbury mantel clock, another Waterbury mantel clock. This bezel's very stiff. Yeah, that striking train doesn't sound too great, but I'll sort that out. Here's the movement out of its case. It's quite unusual for an American movement. Looks like it's more French inspired. Those mainsprings are a bit dry, and I need to clean off that mess there and oil all this. Okay, despite the fact that my hands are a bit dirty, I forgot to show you the escapement. There it is. Looks like a Graham's deadbeat, which is also unusual for an American clock. Usually you find a semi or half deadbeat, however you want to call it. But I think this is a Graham's. The crutch is also interesting. The crutch is more of a German-French style. It's more of a European crutch than American. The American clocks usually use wire crutches, but this movement's different. Very interesting. Sounds a little better, right? There's a date there. Probably a patent, but it's September 13th, 1898. So this movement is probably from the 1800s. As much as it doesn't look like it's from the 1800s, it's probably from the 1800s. Then again, it's worth noting that it could have been made after that patent date, so it could be from the early 1900s as well. Still a really interesting design from an American company. Must be a higher caliber movement, as I've been informed. And here it is after spending around 10 minutes trying to sort out a beat issue. I'm very happy with the finish on the case. It's still shiny, and because of that, the pine wood stand that I have it on is actually reflecting off of it, and I think it makes a really neat effect. Here you can see it was made in the USA by the Waterbury Clock Company. There at the top you can see what I'm talking about. The pine wood is reflecting off of the finish. Here I'm showing how shiny it is, plus those little floral add-ons on the case. I really like those touches. And the case is in really good condition except for that little chip there in the back. But the previous owners of this clock took really good cosmetic care of it. That finish still shines, which is awesome. I wiped the glass up a little bit because it had some grime on it. And that bezel's very stiff. I mentioned it earlier at the beginning of the video. I tried to put some clock oil on the hinges, but I think it's just meant to be that stiff. The finish on the dial's a little worn there, as you can see. But other than the top being a little worn, the bottom, the rest of the dial is actually in pretty good condition. And of course, the singular chime rod. It's also unusual for an American movement because it uses rack and steel striking. There you could hear the rack dropping. And of course the finish just below the dial is still really good as well, very shiny, just like the top. So because it's rack and steel striking, I want to demonstrate. You can push it backwards. And the striking doesn't fall out of sync, and you don't break it. Now, I make a common error that people make here. They move it too fast, and they don't let the rack drop all the way, and that's why it only striked 4. So then I pushed it backwards to show you that it's still in sync, and I just didn't let the rack drop. Also, I took this clip before I fixed the beat. Sounds a little out of beat, I'll fix that. Alright, well, that's pretty much it, so I hope you enjoyed that. Make sure to subscribe if you like clock collection stuff, because that's what I do here, and I'll catch you later.